Hello, my topic is 5-year survival with combined Nivolumab and Ipilimumab in advanced melanoma. Definition: Nivolumab and Ipilimumab are antibodies that work by unlocking lymphocyte inhibitors, albeit at different levels. Such CTLA-4 acts on peripheral tissues at an early stage of the immune response, as PD-1 acts on the tumor microenvironment, and at a later stage, melanoma is a tumor made out of cells that contain abundant melanin.
This is the first phase 1 trial combining checkpoint inhibitors against CTLA-4 and anti-PD-1, specifically Ipi and Nivo, and it was done in patients in melanoma. It was a trial that looked at 5 different concurrent dosing cohorts with various schedules of Ipilimumab and Nivolumab over a period of a maximum of 2 years. It was initially reported out at ASCO 2013 and published in the New England Journal at time, showing a remarkable response rate at that time of 53% and rapid and quick responses. And this led to a randomized phase 2 and randomized phase 3 trials comparing the combination to either single-agent Ipi or single-agent Ipi and Nivolumab, which ultimately led to the approval of this combination as a preferred treatment for patients with metastatic melanoma. Today, or at ASCO, we're reporting out the long-term follow-up of how these first patients treated with Ipi and Nivo have done. Previously reported out the 3-year overall survival for patients on this study on the concurrent cohorts, and reported that 63% of patients were alive at 3 years, and the median overall survival was in the 22-month range. Here we are now reporting the final overall survival with a minimum follow-up of 4 years, and also reporting what has happened to patients after they stop treatment. What we found is that 57% of patients are alive at 4 years, and most remarkably, that there was favorable survival of at least 49% in every cohort of patients that we examined.
Application in nursing. Oncology nursing focuses on the following aspects of health: evaluation of the patient, patient education, coordination of care, direct patient care, symptom management, supportive care.
The toxicity of Ipilimumab, I think many oncologists are now becoming familiar with, and have always been approved for a while. The major toxicity of that is colitis. It's a certain life-threatening colitis that requires immediate indication for steroids. Nivolumab as a single agent seems to be better tolerated. There's not a lot of single-agent toxicity to that. Probably the most prevalent single-agent toxicity has been pneumonitis, but it tends to be mild. It's important to recognize. Some of those patients require anti-immune therapies as well. The combination seems to be, as I said, a bit more toxic than either alone. It's substantially more toxic than either alone. The deaths on trial have been to things like hepatitis, so patients having adrenal crisis, as well as significant hepatic toxicity, some significant GI toxicity in general. So patients that have been treated with a combination really have to be carefully monitored for a variety of autoimmune toxicities that are quite diverse, include weird things like apophysitis, cerebritis, hepatitis, requiring mandating instant, immediate use of steroids and other kinds of immunosuppression. Having said that, though, I guess the encouraging thing about the combination arm is that most of the toxicity seems to be up front. In the patients who've now been followed for an additional year, there have been no further deaths, there have been no further additional toxicities. So, it seems like if patients tolerate the regimen and get a few months through, then the big time toxicity is early on in the therapy.
Pros and cons. Pros. These drugs were approved by the FDA to treat a variety of cancers, including melanoma, lung cancer, kidney cancer, bladder cancer, head and neck cancer, and Hodgkin lymphoma. Cons. If these drugs are administered under the wrong circumstances, they can be deadly. People who take these drugs and have a favorable reaction to them have side effects that can be serious. They can make your immune system work in overdrive and attack healthy organs in your body, causing symptoms like colitis.
So in this meeting also, it has been presented the update of the 067 trial that assess the combination of Ipilimumab plus Nivolumab compared to Ipilimumab and the monotherapy with Nivolumab compared to Ipilimumab. In this, it has been presented the efficacy data at 5 years that are consistent with all the previous reports, showing that approximately more than 50% of the patients on the combination, are alive at 5 years, and this is good news and is consistent with all the previous reports suggesting, that the benefit that we are achieving with this combination maintains, achieves a long-term duration. Well, that is an option. This combination, Ipi and Nivo, is an option to consider, in addition to anti-PD-1 monotherapy for the treatment of patients diagnosed with advanced melanoma.
I should apply it in Ecuador. It has been observed that melanoma appears more frequently in areas of the body exposed to the sun, and that there are more melanomas in latitudes close to the equator. The overall 5-year survival rate is within 15–20%, and of this, only 10% are long survivors. Therefore, the metastatic cutaneous melanoma is an incurable disease, and the goal of treatment is to prolong survival, ease VG, and improve quality of life. Conclusion. Among patients with advanced melanoma, sustained long-term overall survival of 5 years was observed in greater percentage of patients who received Nivolumab plus Ipilimumab or Nivolumab alone than in those who received Ipilimumab alone, with no apparent loss of quality of life in the patients who reviewed regimens contain Nivolumab.
So there have been a number of changes that were presented over the last year, particularly in brain metastatic disease, adjuvant therapy, and some combinations, although these treatments are not all FDA approved, but there's certainly strong signals that they may become standard in clinical practice and potentially also approved by the FDA. So I'll be talking about treatment with combination Ipilimumab and Nivolumab for brain metastasis that has shown substantial response rates, more than 50% that were durable, and so really without radiation, patients had remarkable benefit from this treatment. I will be talking about adjuvant therapy with both Ipilimumab as well as Nivolumab as monotherapy, where we heard about data from a phase 3 trial that demonstrated a recurrence-free survival benefit with Nivolumab monotherapy in stage 3 and stage 4 resected melanoma patient at high risk for recurrence. Data that has already led to changes in NCCN guidelines and will most likely replace Ipilimumab, which only recently had been approved by the FDA for treatment of high-risk melanoma.